What is going on with The Rock? What is going on with the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailer blazing, eyebrow raising, movie star, can't stop till he gets enough, The Rock? Or at this point, can't stop till his skinny ass gets enough. You know? He went from big bad ass to skinny ass at this point. What's going on with The Rock? Now, most of you guys already know I am a Rock fan, or I have been a fan of The Rock for a long time. And I have watched him transition from wrestling to movies. And from the time he transitioned, he had a rough time. Because he wanted to, or they recognized him as a wrestler instead of recognizing him as someone trying to come into the industry fresh, new, and as a person. He had to transition a little bit. He lost a little bit of weight, right? But he was still bigger than what he looks like right now. I'm going to talk about this picture in a second, but he was still fit and he still had his muscles at the time. Which, now that I'm making this video, come to think of it, it's almost he went back to when he was first transitioning into being a recognized movie star. Because he had to lose a good amount of weight in order to fit in to what Hollywood would accept at the time. And of course, it wasn't easy, but he made it through. And, box office after box office, successful movie actor, highest paid actor at the time. I'm not sure if he still is. And then over time, he just continues to make movies after movies after movies. Now, I have heard it all. I have heard all the controversy so far. When I saw this picture, well, before I get to this picture, I have heard it all. I have heard all the controversies, such as box office situation with Black Adam, such as co-worker situations with Vin Diesel, what have you, such as movie set on screen or moviegoers and movie creators probably know what I'm like. I think they call it movie set, right? On set, right? I've heard the controversy there, peeing and having someone throw it out. I've heard it all. I have heard it all before. Damn. I forgot the name of that song. Each time I make a reference of this song. I've heard, or I have witnessed, when he came back to WWE, at least for the last time, he wanted to impose his ideology to some degree. His idea wasn't accepted. And the botch or the senseless move of John Cena's heel turn, because he was involved in that at the beginning of it, but all of a sudden he was nowhere to be seen, wanting to turn Cody heel, and that didn't work out. Just controversy after controversy. It looks like the guy just can't catch a break. If it's not one thing, it's another thing. And at this point, I just don't know what this, like, it's crazy now. And now this, The Rock has lost a huge amount of muscle. When I first saw this picture, I was like, who in the blue hell is this? who is in the blue hell is this? And like I said, I'm not sure if I said this earlier, The Rock has been an inspiration to me. He is one of the people who has inspired me in some way, shape, or form, because The Rock has always, from day one, has always portrayed health and fitness lifestyle to be in good shape, to work hard, to live a healthy living lifestyle and get fit, get in shape. Like, a man's man, a manly persona, if I would say. And now this, he has lost a huge amount of muscle. It's almost like I can no longer recognize him. Like, what is going on with all these Hollywood stars these days? You know, um, Buster Rhymes looked like fruitcake with his situation, because now he himself lost a huge amount of weight. He looked like a fruitcake at this point. But even though The Rock has lost a ton of weight, he's still manly to me. He doesn't look fruity pebble, he doesn't look fruity in any way, shape, or form. Batista, the same thing. Although Batista did admit that he had to lose a lot of muscle due to health reasons. He geared himself into healthy lifestyle or whatever. But then again, you can still work out and still, like, why must you lose a ton of weight? You could still work out, use natural supplement, But it looks like the situation has come home to roost, especially in The Rock's case, because he has always portrayed himself as a hard worker, which he is, it's undeniable. But to this situation, is it for a health reason? Because I guess all that supplement or juicing he's been doing, because when you look at The Rock in his prime movie career days, the Black Adam, all these movies, he looked jacked, to some degree, that to get to that pinnacle of strength and size, you just can't go work out regularly or work out intensively and get that definition and also the size, okay? This size, right? And over time, he has always been questioned. Critics has always questioned, whose name I'm not going to reveal. Critics has always questioned his physique. And at the time when I heard it, I'm like, they should just leave the damn guy alone, man. He works hard. He's a hard worker. He goes to the gym a lot. He has the money to get himself whichever size he wants. If he's doing it safely and not, juicing, that was what I thought at the time. Not knowing that, his physique, I guess at this point, it's not natural, because there is a video that I watched of The Rock explaining himself that he wanted to do something a little different. He was speaking in codes. In my head, I'm like, come on, man, speak clear. He was speaking in codes and in parables for you to put it together yourself. It's not flat out saying that I juiced up to get to the peak of my ability in order for me to perform the way I have performed, in order for me to show out the way I have shown out. In order for me to go make all these movies, I had to look apart, which he does, and he did look apart. All his movies, he's always in great shape, Now, finding out that all that ain't natural, it kind of make me feel some way about it. I felt like I've been let down in some way, shape, or form. I felt like, at first, I felt like the person or one of the person that inspired me has let me down. Because personally, I take health and fitness lifestyle seriously. I mean, I've always taken it seriously from day one, but to help me continue to nurture that side of my passion towards fitness, healthy living, and getting being in shape at all times, no matter what year, being in shape, being the best, your absolute best as you can. At least that is what each and every one of us can control. It's in our hands to control how we look and if we're gonna get in shape or not. You know, I don't understand when people eat themselves into stupor and think, oh, I can't control my diet. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can. Just control what you put in your mouth, you know? But anyways, I was I felt kind of let down by The Rock because I have always been a fan of his. I'm still am, but at first I was very disappointed. All that great talk, all that fitness, gymming, and videos, and you know, it was all it was all nothing but at this point I would say not being truthful. Um, hmm. But I took some time and I thought about the whole situation. I had the opportunity to listen to a short 2 minutes or 5 minutes video of him. I think he was in Venice, Italy, or whatever for a movie or whatever he went to do, and he was explaining himself. And from what I can gather from what he's trying to say is, like I said, I had to engage myself into juicing or an enhanced supplement in order for me to perform to the level I have been able to perform. And there's a video when he was in Venice, Italy. I hope I'm pronouncing the city correctly. If I'm not, please let me know. And in that video, when he was inside a boat talking, he felt even, and that was before I saw this picture. When I looked at him in that video, I was like, is that The Rock? There's barely any fat on his face. His face looked thinned. It looked like he's sick or something. That was what I said. And that was before I saw this picture. I wasn't sure what was exactly going on, but he was appreciating the view, the scenery, while being on the boat. He said something that like he felt like he's been here before, appreciating the scene and his mannerism and his appreciation of life and the view and everything. I'm like, wow, I mean, he's enjoying his life, whatever, you know, not paying attention to all these critics and everything. He's just doing his thing. But I questioned what I was seeing. I'm like, is that really The Rock? What happened to him? It looked like he aged 10 times. Like it's almost like he added 10 years on top of however age he is in, currently right now. I think right now he's 50 years old, in his mid 50s. I have to check that. But then when I saw this picture, I'm like, wow. And I listened to his video explaining himself, not really saying exactly what he did, but at the same time speaking in codes and parables. I'm like, why don't you come flat out and say it? Say it. Because, but again, I don't think he will ever flat out come out and say that he did this or he did that. So I have taken some days to really analyze this situation because there's a lot of people coming after The Rock, making videos, and I'm sure those YouTubers have every right to speak their mind. I'm sure they have reasons to believe that, you know, it's time for The Rock to step out, like to go away. How are we going to miss you if you don't go away? Personally, I think maybe because he's making too much money. Maybe people are a little bit, they feel somehow about it because every one of his movies is making good money out of them. And a lot of people have criticized him heavily on it, which they have every right to criticize what they seem to believe that this situation needs to be talked about. They have every right to say that. Um, of course, he's not perfect. He's not a perfect being. He makes mistakes just like everybody else. Hulk Hogan was the same way. Eat your vitamins, say your prayers, all that bullshit back in the day, and turns out that he was juicing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the same thing. In order for them to be in the top peak of their performance, they had to do some enhancement. That's what I took some time to realize, that you can get mad all you want, but he's not the only one who has done this. Now, I know in his case, it's a little different because there has been a lot of controversy on his case for quite some time. The Black Adam situation, um, and everything else, people are hating on him. And, I didn't like the WWE situation. John Cena turning heel, and he was full part of it in the beginning, and something didn't work out in the back office, and it just went to shits. So overall, ladies and gentlemen, looking at this picture, I am baffled to see him like this. Hopefully, he will gain some goddamn muscles, because he just doesn't look good. Even when he's talking, he looks like life has been sucked out of him or something. And that's the thing, when you enhance yourself with all these things for years, when you get off it, it's not like there's going to be repercussions. And in his case, he's lucky. He's really lucky. I'm happy that hopefully he's all right for what he's worth. I don't want anything to happen to him, because he's been a great figure of person to me. Just like I said, the fitness thing, I'm all for it. Another reason why I'm not gonna hate on The Rock now is simply because even though he kinda let me down in some way, in terms of fitness goals and in terms of fitness, healthy living, and all this stuff, at the same time, I will commend him, because if it wasn't the fact that he helped me to nurture my fitness lifestyle, I don't think I will be able to get to the point that I have gotten to. Of course, I am not in the best shape of my life, okay? I'm not in the best shape of my life, but I'm doing pretty good on my own. And all thanks to The Rock, as one of the 3 individuals or characters that has inspired me. Despite what is happening now, I am still going to give him props for helping me nurture mine. Now, although his situation is different, and especially when you start getting old, that's when all that damage is gonna start returning to you. I appreciate him for his contribution, and I know he's not perfect. I know he's not a perfect being. I know as he gets older, he's gonna have to do better in areas where he has fell short. The line about the cheeseburger video when he's been there before already, all these things, man. Um, he became a person that promotes and sells his product every video and all of that stuff. You know, I guess due to the fact that he is a celebrity and a social media celebrity as well, despite, aside from movies, WWE, he's a social media person. I guess due to the fact that he's always showing himself in front of people, he's making all this money, and people are have monitored his movies and how much he made, and they probably put all two and two together and calculated how much this man has made. He's made a lot of money. He should step down or step away and let other people um get in the spotlight. Like I said, if he doesn't go away, how will the population miss him? um I hope that, first of all, I hope that where he is right now in his situation, I hope that he's okay, healthy wise, you know, because his contribution will never be forgotten. Coming from the WWE transition into movies, his contribution in the WWE has always been one of the talked points of wrestlers. His feud with his rival Stone Cold Steve Austin, his feud with Triple H, Undertaker, and Kurt Angle, all that stuff. And in his movies, he has contributed a lot in this world. It's just that at this point, I think people are sick and tired of seeing him all the time in movie roles, and maybe he might have pissed off someone in the head top. He might have pissed off a couple of people, and now they're ridiculing him, and because all it takes is to piss somebody off, and they're gonna give this narrative, whether if it is true or not. Because, like I said, I have heard it all. I have heard all the controversial. I have heard all the narratives. I have heard all the bullshit, whatever people have said about him, all the negative videos and all the positive videos too. Um, at the end of the day, my advice will be, I hope he's going to turn anew, and I hope that you know healthy wise, that he's going to be okay. I hope that um of course, this is up to him. If you want to step aside, step away from this social media, step away from the scene for some time, which I don't think he's going to do, because he's a guy who enjoys showing um, his success, whether if it is going to a movie set, whether if it is promoting a movie, whether if it is promoting his tequila, whether if it is going to fast food joint, whether if it is promoting for a new upcoming movie, whether if it is his fitness situation, whether if it is going to the gym. He's always been in the spotlight, and I know people are sick and tired of seeing him at this point. Some people, not all people, some people, some, not everybody, you know. It is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. I was disappointed at first when I saw this picture, and from what I've heard, that he's been enhancing in an enhancement all this while, which, if I think about it, it made absolute sense. And even though I felt disappointed at the time, but I stepped back. I'm like, you know what? All right. So this is what it is now. What contribution has he made in my life in some way, shape, or form? Oh, that. Okay. Okay. He has impacted me in a positive way, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus now. Of course, I will criticize his behaviors and the things he may have that I didn't agree with, but overall, um, I will not alienate him, even if he ends up this in this state. You know, everything was a lie. He was enhancing himself all this time and fooling. He fooled me, you know. But it is what it is. Um, I think at the end of the day, it's up to him to do how he feels or how he sees fit. But I hope that he's gonna find a way to set things straight, to set things right, to make things right, and that will be first to step away for a bit and have people miss him a little bit, and then come back. I know, even though he looks like this, he's not gonna look like this for long. I think at some point he's gonna, because if I look back at Arnold Schwarzenegger, his transition and everything, when he got old, when he stepped away from steroids and all this enhancement and he became slimmer, and now he went back into working out. I mean, this exercise and healthy lifestyle is not something you throw away just like that. Do you all hear me? It's not something you throw away. It's in his blood at this point. It has been ingrained in his blood. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from someone who is into fitness. I'm not in it the way I think I should, but so far I'm doing okay. But it's not something you walk away from. Steroids or no steroids, enhancement or no enhancement is simply not what you give up that easily. Even though he does look like this, make no mistake about it, he's gonna do things natural. And Batista has done it. I'm not sure if Batista is gonna stay that way for long, or if I think Batista is going to maybe due to health reasons, he's gonna stay like that. But for The Rock, I think he can still put at least 10 to 50 more pounds of muscle if he wants to. Of course, do it naturally. Stay safe, brother. Stay safe, sir. Despite everything I've heard about you, there are certain things I do not agree that you have done. There are certain things, certain narrative that I think that you know, I will have to put myself in a situation to be judgmental about it. But overall, only the creator will judge all of us. Actually, let me take that back. We are people that judge others, but throughout it all, the creator knows all at the end of the day. Whether he does good in front of the crowd and behind closed door he does bad, that is between him and his creator. Whether he does good in front of people and behind he's doing bad, he's doing wrong, that is between him and his creator. That's what I would say at this point, because I can easily be persuaded from narrative from other people, which I'm not sure if this is conjured to make him look bad. I'm not sure if this is conjured to make him, to alienate him, to destroy him, his career. Now that he's reached that point where he's getting older, he's not gonna be, as persistent as he used to be. He's gonna retire very soon. And another area where I'm looking at this situation, I'm like, you know what? Despite everything, I still think that he's good in my book. If he's fooling me, if he has fooled the world, if The Rock has fooled the whole world by pretending to be a nice guy and deep down he's a rotten piece of crap, that's between him and his creator. But from my standpoint, how I'm looking at this is The Rock is one of those guys who has always has always shown his masculinity, and that is what we miss in this damn time. Masculinity has been attacked a lot. He's a masculine man, what a man should be, how a man should act, how a man should behave, you know? And this is the kind of man we need. I'm talking about from that standpoint. A masculine figure, you know? Although people has criticized him in his movies, always playing the same character, but make no mistake about it, that character, the masculine ideology, is what young men needs to get off your butt, go in, train, get in shape. Don't be a slob, don't be a loser. Try the best you can to be your absolute best. That is one of the area where I'm looking at this situation. I'm like, you know what? At least what he portrayed through his prime has always been the masculine figure, which is what this generation needs. And every other generation needs it. Young kids needs it at this point. Because there's a lot of war going on right now in, you know, spiritually, whether if it is spiritually, whether if it is physically. You know, so when you alienate one person or someone who has this type of masculinity, what you're gonna get next, what you're going to get next, I don't think we're gonna like it. You know, when we have a masculine figure, yes, he may have had his shortcomings, he may have done something that a lot of people don't agree with, but everybody deserves a second chance to some degree. Hopefully things works out for him. You know, The Rock is not paying me in any way, shape, or form. I mean, deep down, I would like to meet him someday, but because he has been a big part of my fitness journey to some degree. You know, this is not a promotion thing that I'm doing. It's just my true intention, despite everything else I've heard, despite the negative topic, the negative videos, despite all of that, I still believe that the guy, but he's gonna have to admit the things he has done and be truthful and be honest with it, which I think he's trying, but he's saying it in parables, in codes, you know. Hopefully I hope that things are going to work out for him. And you know, to all the jabronis, hey, it is what it is. So that's my take for The Rock's weight loss or what's going on with him, and hopefully the guy is okay. That's the most important thing. Hopefully he's not grievously ill in some way, shape, or form. I hope he's gonna be fine. And yeah,